Hi, this is Miranda from My Scrappy Life and welcome back to my channel. This is a process video or YouTube hop for Tasty Tuesdays. It's a brand new hop that will come every month on the last Tuesday of every month. And so I am going to be using the 12 days of Christmas scrap lifts, and this is going to be day number 8. So the scrap lift that I am using is from Claire Louise, and I pretty much follow it to the T. So what I'm going to start out with is my white background piece, and then I grabbed one of the textured pieces that came with this one. Now, this is a combined of two collections or two kits together. It's Color Rush Studios Sunny Day kit, and then I also got it as a non-design team layout from the scrap room, and so that means I just got the embellishment kit and the flavors of the month kit. Well, in the flavors of the month kit, that is why I have the green or the yellow, I should say, that I am working with as my main focal point. And then, of course, I always have to add that yellow. So I am doing my tearing, and then I'm going to add two pieces. So in her layout, she's only got one. I'm adding two, and it's going to make sense on why I did once we get to it. So I'm going to add the yellow piece, and then I'm going to work on the two pieces that I tore. And this like bubble dotted one is perfect for what I wanted to do, to give it a little bit, because in her layout, it's like snowflakes, because obviously it's Christmas or winter style, right? So I am using the template a little bit to kind of get these placed where I want them to. I want to focus the green more on that one side, and the other side's going to have my photos just like hers. So I'm adding this to this, and then I come in before I got a bright idea, and it actually turns out well. So I went and got a Paige Evan the Star confetti stencil, and I am using mustard seed to do like a little bit of a tone on tone, and it comes out perfect. And then I'm going to add it through the bottom just a little bit as a tone on tone. Then I will come in. My mustard seed's a little juicy, if you want to call it. So I've gotten achieved of this like tone on tone style. But wait until you see what I do next. I love how it turned out, because it worked really well for what I wanted. So then I added my paper. I left the yellow mustard seed on there. With Astro Paste, the Frostbite, you can add it to the little bit of coloring that you have from the Distress Oxide and leave it on there, and it actually mixes in with the Solar Paste, and it gives this really brighter color that is, you can see it more in the still shots, but it adds just that little bit of extra pizzazz to the page. And I go in and I add a little bit on the white just to give it a little bit, and I really liked how that turned out. So that is that. Now I am going to be working on my photos. Now my photos are from Grandfather Mountain. Grandfather Mountain once a year does Scottish games, and I haven't done much of that trip because I had to finish up one of my other trips back in November, December, and the beginning of this month, since this is going up on the last of the month. So I am working on my next trip, which is Grandfather Mountain. We stayed in Blowing Rock, I should say, not Bold Rock, Blowing Rock, North Carolina, and Grandfather Mountain's like 30 minutes from there. And we went up for the Scottish Games because of one of Josh's friends, Corey. He is Scottish, so is Josh, but he partakes in the Scottish Games that Grandfather Mountain has once a year. So we went and went through it all, and just came up for the weekend and all of that. And during that trip, we always go see different breweries and stuff. Bold Rock is up there. That is one of them that we have gone multiple times to go to their brewery to get their different styles of beers. Well, there is one that's in Blowing Rock that you will see my photos of as well, that does their distillery right in town of Blowing Rock. Well, there is a really cool place to get ice cream, And that is my sweet treat. That is the theme for this hop for the month of January, is the sweet treat. Any of the stuff that we may cook or take photos of, the inspiration is kind of loosely, and the person that's putting it on is giving us prompts every month, and so it works out perfectly. So anyway, I am working on doing all of my embellishments now. Now, the embellishments actually somewhat kind of cover up some of this, but I love how the mixed media is peeking out of its corners. And that's kind of what I wanted to do here, because in the layout, as you can tell, that is up in the corner, she has no mixed media on hers, and she's one of them that doesn't do a lot of mixed media on her layouts. So for me, I gotta have a little. It's kind of like if I don't have any, I feel like my layouts aren't done in that sense. But I'm just kind of going through, and I'm going through all of the ephemeras and all of the stickers and whatnot. So I have the 2 sheets of stickers for this layout, and then, or for this kit, and then I've got some frazzle and some wood pieces and some other things that came through the Color Rush Studio, and then I've got some pieces of the ephemera, and then I've got like the journal bits of the collection, and that's kind of what that is. Now, I will tell you what, I don't know what American Crafts was doing, but they do not know how to cut these. This is one that is really bad about cutting, and it is like off kilter all the way. Well, then when I went through the sticker pack, I found these 3 ice cream cones, and I was like, you got to put them on there because I got ice cream cones, right? And it's part of my sweet treat. So I was like, you gotta do a pun on pun, right? So I have Sun and Shine up there. So, yeah, Sun and Shine up there, or Sunshine, I think it's called. And then my keys down there, it's called A Happy Place. And then Squeeze the Day, it's kind of like you're supposed to have like lemon juice or lemonade, but I don't drink lemonade necessarily. I'm more of a water person, and more of a Diet Coke person if I do drink something outside of that. So that is why I just put that on there. It works for me. And then I am going through, and there's going to be Summer Lovin' down there is the other title. So I think I'll probably call this Summer Loving for my title. And then I've got all these little bits. So now I'm going through, and I'm going to add, there's a bunch of little puffy circles on on the phone stickers. So I'm going to add that. And then I found some hearts, and I added some hearts because I did so much stars for this one. I added the hearts instead, just to add a little bit more shapes in here. And then just from there on, pretty much it's me just embellishing and going through and adding. And then I do come in lastly with enamel dots that's in the collection. And I think that's pretty much it. Oh, and the sequence. I add the sequence. I was going to do splatters, and then I decided, nope, I'm not going to. I did my mixed media, which is the backgrounds of the yellowish stuff peeking through. You can still see it. Yes, I know I'm covering it up and all, but you can see it, like, especially when you look at the still shots and everything, like, you can see it. So I am going to kind of cluster my ephemera around the photos like she did, but I'm going to kind of do it like layer on layer. I like how my layering works when it comes to doing this. It's kind of like my forte. I love how I can just take certain little bits and just make them layer perfectly. And that's kind of like where I'm at and what I do myself. And so then I found this retro radio. I always bring my little box that is my little speaker. And especially if we don't have like internet or like TV or anything, because there's a lot of trips that we take that don't have TV or internet, or if we have internet, it's just the Wi-Fi, but there's no TV, right? So I bring my jukebox and I was like, ooh, that's gonna work there. That's pretty cool. So this is where I put in the enamel dots. And then I'm like, ooh, I'm going to get some splatters out. And I was going to do that. And then I'm like, nope, we're going to do some sequins. And then that's it. So I take and use all the little ones of this one. And I place them everywhere to add just that little bit of different dimension because of the circles. So I've got the little circles on the paper. And then I got the foam ones. And then these add just that little bit of extra. And then I got the sequins. Now, the sequence is part of the Color Rush Studios collection, and that is just me going through and adding all of them. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you get to the end, make sure that you do all the YouTube-y stuff. Make sure you check out the playlist. It is going to be a playlist, so you just got to click on it and then play through all of them. I am doing this the beginning of January, so hopefully everything will be up in my description. I know that I made a note to go back to make sure I add everything because she's not completely ready yet. But if it is not there, just make sure you make a comment for me, and then I'll make sure I go back in and get it done because I am doing this super early in the month of January versus, closer to when this needs to be actually up. So I hope that you guys are all staying safe. Have a wonderful day. Do all the YouTube stuff. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. That would be amazing. Going into 2026, I would love to try to get to 4,000 subscribers. I know I am kind of way off, but let's see if I can get there this year. And yeah, so there's the sequence. The still shots are coming up. I hope that you guys are all staying safe, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.
I don't know why I go when I go. I still don't know why this war in my blood, why this war with all that I love. Oh, my wandering ways and these faithless days, I find it hard to explain. My wandering ways, always turning away from your loving embrace, I find it hard to explain. My wandering